Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids. I'm back in the usual recording setup. Back just on time for this stuff to pretty much be live in game. In fact, these champions we're going to look at right now might already have gone live in game, but let's break them down and give some proper impressions. This is the full deck, info deck for the entire Assassin's Creed collaboration. So yeah, here we go. There are five assassins total. And then the sixth, the Void Legendary, who we've already looked at. That's part of the event dungeon. The Pope, evil Pope, basically. It's also part of this event, but it's not an Assassin's Creed character. But yeah, let's just take a quick spin through this and we'll look at the new characters, which is like the new thing for this. But yeah, nothing is true. Everything is permitted, no matter where you are. Powerful magic has drawn 5 assassins from throughout history. Ezio Auditore da Firenze, Edward Kenway, Bayek, Basim ibn Ishaq, and Cassandra to the strange new world of Teleria. With only their wits and assassin skills to help them survive, each has sought information in their own way. Ezio sweet-talked the ladies and traded barbed insults with the knights of Tilshire, while Edward drank heartily alongside newfound friends aboard a galleon as a swashbuckling stowaway. Masters of gleaning knowledge from shifting sands, Bayek and Basim separately traversed the vast and harsh Crocan desert as Cassandra navigated waters that felt eerily like home to her. On their journeys far and wide, each assassin heard tell of a place called Velizar, where everything is for sale, including information. A bustling arena and market city under the shadowy rule of guilds, gangsters, and criminals, Velizar was akin to a home for some of the assassins. Little did they know it also played host to a piece of Eden. Sensing its power, each assassin made their way to Velizar, hunting the piece of Eden in a bid to return home. But they were too late. It had fallen into the hands of the zealous Pontiff Augustin, who now is subjugating the citizens of Velizar to his cruel power. And the assassins band together to take the piece of Eden from Augustin and use it to return home. If they can, rest assured, blades will not stay hidden for long. Cool, it's a little bit of fun right there. Evil Pope has a piece of Eden. Cool. All right, there we go. We've got some very nice key art over here, by the way. The 5 assassins together. Got Bayek, Ezio, Edward, got Basim, and Cassandra. I haven't played all of these games, but I played a few of them. And yeah, there we are. We can see the 6 champions. 14-day loyalty, mix, fusion, and other in-game events and activities. Champions will be available to acquire only during the event activation. Now, I'm not sure about the Pope because he's not an assassin character. I am 100% sure, though, pretty much 99%, that the 5 assassins are going to be purely limited to this. It's the Pope I'm not totally sure about. He might be a limited character as well. I'm guessing that he, much like Odin or Queen of Hearts or whatever, he's going to be sort of the big chase character. I think he'll probably only be up for grabs from like shard pull events. And then I think the others will probably have guaranteed ways to get them. We know about Ezio and Cassandra already. The other 3 new ones, Bayek, Basim, and Edward, wouldn't be shocked to see like a Hero's Path, Deck of Fate. Yeah, stuff like maybe a champion training event. Who the heck knows? But I wouldn't be shocked to see them up for grabs in some sort of guaranteed formats. This is up for few months as well, from January all the way to the start of April. So we've got 1 month to February, 2 months to March, 3 months to April. It is up for 3 months, and I'd expect them to sort of hold back some of the better guaranteed. We could have one from a Titan event as well. I'd expect some of those guaranteed events to come towards the end of this collaboration, and they will try to get you to pull shards for shard events for these champions early on. So yeah, early on shard events. Near the end, I'd expect some guaranteed events so that you've got a chance to pick them up before they're gone forever. We'll see. Here we go. These are the assassins. Well, I'm very, very disappointed. Now he's not there. Should be my favorite. I actually really enjoyed Assassin's Creed Shadows. It's kind of not well liked generally, but I personally loved it. So I'm really sad to see her and Yasuke are missing, which is a bummer. I would have loved to see them. I think they're pretty reasonable picks overall. Edward Kenway, Black Flag, I think it's Assassin's Creed. Was it Assassin's Creed 4? Black Flag, the pirate one. He was the main character for that. That's obviously a really popular one. And I think that there are rumors that they're going to be remaking it this year sometime. We'll see if that actually happens. Bayek and Cassandra is maybe a little surprising because Origins and Odyssey were only 1 year apart. They're mostly kind of modern-ish, and then Edward's a bit of a throwback, and Ezio, probably the two most popular ones from the past. So yeah, I think it's a decent group. I'm just really surprised we don't see Nawe or Yasuke, 'cause they're from the newer games. Basim's from a pretty recent game as well, like Assassin's Creed Mirage, which is sort of a kind of a new take on like the original Assassin's Creed. I've enjoyed all the games. I think Odyssey's really, really good. Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood were really good at Brotherhood, especially. They're pretty old these days. I never played Revelations. Yeah, the Ezio games are pretty old. I think there might be remasters, but they are old. Odyssey holds up real well. Mirage is a new game, but I never played it. I've heard pretty mixed reviews. Black Flag is fairly old as well. And with the potential remake coming, it'd be sort of hang on and wait for the remake. Origins, I'm actually going to play myself. I picked it up on a really good sale recently, so I'm going to give it a go. That's sort of my thoughts on the Assassin's Creed stuff. Wasn't a particularly big fan of Valhalla. Got kind of bored of that one. But I didn't like Shadow. So, I mean, a lot of it comes down to personal preference. Do you like the setting? Yes, and so on. So here we go. We've got the whole Ezio login thing. We've already seen that. We've seen Ezio already. Check out my other videos talking about Ezio. He looks pretty good. We've got Cassandra, who's definitely an interesting one. Let's see how they combo with the other characters, though. So we have the three. Bayek, Edward, and Basim. So let's jump in. I've already downloaded these and we've made these bigger so we can take a proper look. So first up, Bayek, Egyptian. He's going in the barbarian faction. So there's a lot of Egyptian themed characters in there at this point. Yeah, I mean, maybe not a lot, but we've got like two Hanorak in there. Maybe a couple of others that are sort of Egyptian themed. So that seems to be where any Egyptian type stuff is going, is into the barbarians. He's Void and his defense. He's the only defense based. And he seems to be the sort of support of the team. So yeah, as the Void Legendary, expect him to be the hardest to get. And because he's got quite a supportive skill set, to be the one who sort of sets up the others. A bit like Donatello sort of setting up the other turtles, I think. He's sort of the linchpin for any assassin type team because he's the only one really buffing them up, or the main one who's buffing them up and boosting them and giving them perfect veil, which is so important. But expect him to be pretty tough to get. Is he good though? Like, how does he compare to like a Leonardo, for example? Let's take a look. He's got Kopesh Strike, his A1, attacks one enemy, puts a leech debuff for 2 turns, and fills the champion's turn meter by 20%. We have Desert Zephyr. 4 turn goes to 3 turn cooldown, attacks all enemies, puts decrease accuracy and decrease resist for 2 turns, and puts provoke on all enemies for 1 turn. If the target's under 3 or more debuffs, puts provoke for 2 turns instead. Prayer of the Medjay puts an increased accuracy buff on all allies, also puts perfect veil and increased defense on all allies except this champion for 2 turns, puts increased defense on this champion for 3 turns, and gives an extra turn. So basically, you know, he gets 1 extra turn of increased defense for himself, but he's taking an extra turn. It's just going to keep it up very consistently, though. That's a 4-turn cooldown Prayer of the Medjay. And we have Siwa's Pride. This champion and their allies cannot receive critical hits from enemies whose accuracy is equal to or lower than their accuracy. Now, that's massive. That's big. Then everything is permitted. The same assassin passive that they all have. When an enemy's HP drops below 25%, sorry, after receiving damage from any assassin, they take bonus damage. This time it's proportional to this champion's defense. Which is cool. All the others are attack. This guy scales off defense, so there you go. This is 70 accuracy in all battles aura. Putting it all together, I do think, so one thing, first of all, he's providing perfect veil to all the assassins. That's really cool. Funny enough, most of their stuff, I will see the other 2 new ones, but with Ezio and with Cassandra, when they're under perfect veil, they don't need accuracy. So there's a little sort of contradiction there, but I mean, you really, really, really want perfect veil for all the other assassins that we've seen so far. He is the way to provide it while still being part of the assassin team, which is cool. Increased defense, not that important to the other ones. So it's okay. I think that the Siwa's Pride is the big selling point here of his kit, and it does make that increased accuracy buff actually useful. Yeah, if enemies have low accuracy, they can't crit your allies that have higher accuracy. And he's got the decreased accuracy debuff too. So with the increased accuracy buff and the decreased accuracy debuff, you can make your team protected from crits. They just cannot be crit. It's fairly unusual to be crit in PvE content, though. A lot of enemies just have the baseline 15%. And if you're positive affinity, they just can't crit you at all. There's a couple of bosses that can crit you a bit more. So like Amius has a bit of a higher chance to crit. Some of the Chimera forms have a little bit higher chance to crit. It's not crazy common though. So yeah, that pushes it more towards PvP. Um, I'm not sure if these champions are going to be good enough for PvP. Like they'll be okay, but they're not wowing me so far like the turtles are. But we'll see what we've got. Still have two more to look at after this. Yeah, decrease accuracy, decrease resistance. Cool little combo. Yeah, I mean the provoke is nice as well. Pretty good. He's putting out 2 debuffs himself. If there's one more debuff out there, he's doing a 2-turn provoke. So for wave content, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I know he seems decent, but maybe not too crazy, to be honest. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think about Bayek? Sure, my impression of the assassins overall so far has been they're good, but not bonkers. Not like the turtles, where I was thinking, gosh, the turtle team is just OP as heck, right? Not getting the same vibe. So let's take a look. Who was up next in our list? It was Edward Kenway. Let's take a look at Edward Kenway, the pirate. Edward Kenway. So he's force affinity for the Banner Lords. He is an attack-based character. Yeah. Rip to everyone who wanted a pirate faction, by the way. Back in the day, they shot that down, didn't they, a couple of years ago? He would have fit in just right with a pirate faction. But yeah, it was a Black Flag, really fun game. Really fun game. But here we go. Privateer Blitz. Attacks one enemy 3 times. Each hit has a 75 going to 100% chance of decreasing the target's turn meter by 15%. Each hit will decrease the target's turn meter by 25% instead if the attack is critical, and it cannot be resisted if this champ's under fail or perfect fail. Now that jumps out as strong. Holy moly, that's really good. So, I mean, he's a damage dealer, so you're going to be building with crit. So he has a triple hit, each hit doing 25% turn meter pushback, 75% turn meter pushback in total. That's really, really, really good. This is like allure power creep finally in 2026. So it's here, it's happened. Very powerful for Arena. That's a ton of turn meter pushback that cannot be resisted. That's incredibly strong. Very strong for PvE. Many bosses are immune, but there are some that aren't. Even the Grim Forest, which is not the hardest content in the game, but you know, a lot of people progressing in it. You can push the turn meter back for the Mimic. You can push turn meter back, I think, for the final boss as well. That's kind of cool. All right, Fan the Hammer, the A2. 4 goes to a 3-turn cooldown. Attacks all enemies 2 times. First hit steals all buffs from all enemies and decreases each enemy's turn meter by 20%. Cannot be resisted if he's under fail or perfect fail. Okay. Second hit, a 75 going to 100% chance of placing a sleep debuff on all enemies for 1 turn. Ignores block debuffs if the attack is critical. Cannot be resisted if he's under fail or perfect fail. Wow. All right. So you know that whole thing I was just saying a minute ago, about the assassins weren't standing out as like being particularly crazy? I take it all back. Edward is okay. This is the one that's like, this guy is crazy. So massive turn meter reduction, triple hit A1. AoE double hit A2, which is stealing all buffs and pushing enemy turn meter back and sleeping them. Crazy and all potentially irresistible. Between the Eyes, 5 goes to a 3-turn cooldown. Attacks one enemy. Before attacking, puts perfect fail on this champion, as well as any other assassins on the team. Ignores shield, stone skin, and block damage, and puts block revive if he kills the target. He's better than Bayek. This guy's straight up better. He provides his own perfect veil, so he's functional by himself, very strong by himself, but he's also giving veil to the other assassins. Yeah, ignoring stone skin is super useful. Block revive is super useful. Ignoring block damage is very useful too. Okay, he's got the same everything's permitted passive. An enemy drops below 25% HP, and he does some bonus damage. Heal Hall, then, is a final passive. Each hit inflicted by this champion has a 50% chance of placing a 100% ensnare debuff on the target for 2 turns. Whenever this champion kills an enemy, puts a 100% ensnare debuff on all other enemies for 2 turns, and decreases their turn meter by 20%. They cannot be resisted if this champion's under Veil or Perfect Veil, and he does 20% more damage as well against enemies under Ensnare. Okay, this assassin is very, very good. Yeah, provides the Perfect Veil for the others. Great effects on this A3. Great effects on the A2, the A1. Ensnare is basically stopping enemies from gaining any turn meter, and he is pushing turn meter back quite a lot. So the enemies can't gain turn meter. He is pushing turn meter back with nearly all of his moves on his passive. Yeah, okay. Edward is legit really good. I think he's probably the best assassin. He is the best ones. We still one more to go. I'd say he's the best one so far. Just a really solid nuker with lots of turn meter pushback stuff. That is pretty cool. Then finally we have Basim Ibn Ishaq. I don't know if I've said this right again. He was in Valhalla, but I never finished Valhalla. Again, I just got sort of bored of Valhalla, which is a bummer because it is the one that has an Irish expansion. So I kind of want to play it to see Ireland, but I kind of don't want to play it again because I'd rather play some of the other games. Um, I don't know. Yeah, Mirage. I might check it out. It's a shorter one. Maybe, maybe. But yeah, we'll see. He's Force Affinity, Attack for the Sacred Order. He is in the same faction then as Ezio, so that's cool. The others are all not. They're all in different factions, but he and Ezio together, and Ezio is the free login, so that's nice for this guy. You can run 2 assassins together for faction war or any faction restricted content. Dagger Swirl attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has a 50. Yeah, just flat 50 of placing a weaken debuff for 2 turns. If he's under Veil or Perfect Veil, it's 100%. Okay. Then has a 50% chance of applying debuff spread, taking 1 random debuff from the target and putting it on all enemies. If he's under Veil or Perfect Veil, it's 100%. So yeah, give this guy Veil, he's placing weaken, and then he's always debuff spreading 1 random debuff with his A1. Great, cool. Is actually pretty decent at putting weaken even without Perfect Veil. Like 2 50-50s is a 75% chance, roughly. So, yeah, it's not really too bad. Up in Smoke, 4-turn goes to a 3-turn cooldown. Attacks all enemies, ignores 15% defense. Ignores 30% defense if he's under Veil or Perfect Veil. That's going to hit hard. Has a 75 going to 100% chance of placing block active skills for 2 turns. This ignores block debuffs if he's under Veil or Perfect Veil. That's really, really good as well. Now, he does need accuracy. He ignores block debuffs, but he's not ignoring... it's not irresistible, so it can be resisted. Okay, so that's where Bayek comes in. Right. Winds of Baghdad. 5 goes to a 4-turn cooldown. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Deals 5. Was his... Maybe his... I'm trying to... Is Mirage set in Baghdad or Istanbul? Maybe it is set in Baghdad, actually. And yeah, maybe it was Revelations was set in Istanbul or Constantinople, or I don't know. I'm getting confused between all the stuff now. Anyway, Winds of Baghdad, 4-turn cooldown, attacks one enemy 2 times, does 5% more damage for each buff and debuff on this champion, and 5% more for each buff and debuff on the target, up to 100%. Puts Perfect Veil on this champ for 3 turns, and then gives an extra turn. I was about to say a 4-turn cooldown on a single target attack's a bit poor, but this is actually pretty nice. So he provides his own Veil for 3 turns as well. So he can consistently self-Veil. That's pretty cool. He's a big AoE nuke. So boost up with your Veil. Big AoE nuke. AoE block active skills that ignores block debuffs if he has enough accuracy. His A1 is pretty nice. You could use that to keep spreading block active skills. Pretty powerful for PvP right there. What's his passive? So again, the same assassin passive. Everything's permitted. Cool. Masterful Thief. Whenever this champion is attacked, steals 1 random buff from the attacker and transfers 1 random debuff from this champion to the attacker. These effects will ignore polymorph. Occurs once per skill. Will ignore 25% of a target's resist. Okay. If he's under Veil or Perfect Veil. All right, so he doesn't have everything's irresistible, but he does have ignore resistance, 25%, which is very strong. And again, he's providing his own Veil. So yeah. Okay, what we'll have to do, I'll have to sit down and think about, would you run a full assassin team? Or I don't think you have to, right? I think with the turtles, right, Leonardo is so strong with 3 other turtles that a full turtle team makes a hell of a lot of sense. With the assassins, like, sure, you're going to just execute everything with their passive. That's cool if you're running multiple of these assassins. You probably just kill enemies when they hit 25% HP. They should probably just die. Maybe they'll just die anyway. I don't know if you're running less assassins, but you maybe don't need a full assassin team at all. And some of them provide their own perfect veils. Otherwise, yeah, Edward just, I don't know. These are definitely the 3 strongest ones, though, I would say. Funny enough, I feel like Bayek has been the least impressive of these, which sucks because he's the Void. He's the one who's jumping out least to me. But yeah, going over the 3 from this video, Bayek, Increase accuracy, decrease resistance. I mean, the increased accuracy is kind of nice. Definitely, he combos well with Basim to enable him to land that block active skills. That is pretty cool. And I mean, he is tanking for your team, right? He's putting perfect fail up. You're forcing enemies to attack you, especially with block active skills. If that lands, it's a nice little combo. Okay, I mean, it's interesting. Again, he's got perfect fail for the team. Bit of a generalist. Great Hydra champion for sure. Really, really good for Hydra, but who cares about that these days unless they rework, I don't know, add some limited time Hydra thing in general. He does have a cool passive that could be quite strong for Arena, to be fair. Yeah, Bayek, he's a decent generalist, but he's not wowing me. Apart from maybe that passive's real nice for Arena, but he seems only okay, to be honest. Not too blown away. Edward Kenway, this guy looks crazy good though. Yeah, this guy looks super, super legit. Yeah, gives himself a perfect fail. Also boosts up other assassins. This guy seems like the guy to get to run a bit of an assassin team to give them the perfect fail that they need. And then he's got just lots of really good effects, just really powerful. I will say, to be fair, he is more PvP, right? Block revive, more of a PvP thing. Stone skin, block damage, very much PvP buffs. AoE sleep, very much PvP. So and ensnare as well, pretty PvP. So he's much more PvP focused than the others. So maybe that's something about Bayek. Bayek, a way to get perfect fail that's more PvE while still getting some of that assassin passive in there. Whereas Edward more PvP focused. I mean, I thought it was funny they described Cassandra as PvP. This guy strikes me as PvP, not that way. Then Basim, generally very strong, more PvP with the block active skills, but weaken and debuff spread is pretty generally good. Just doing some good damage. This, Wings of Baghdad, the damage for this, definitely going to be more PvE focused where you can stack up lots of debuffs on enemies, and this will hit pretty hard. Yeah, so this guy's a bit of a mix. PvE and PvP. I mean, a bit more of a straightforward PvP nuker, but yeah, pretty interesting. Okay, pretty interesting stuff. I mean, would Bayek be good against? He's going to buff up, then he's going to do an AoE hit, remove a stack of total guard. I don't know, maybe. Let me know your thoughts on them. If I was to rate them 1, 2, and 3, I put Edward 1, maybe Basim 2, and Bayek 3? It just seems strange. Like, Void Affinity, you would assume would be the best, but I'm not sure about that, to be honest. I'm not sure. I have to think about rating all 5. I'm not going to rate all 5 here in the one go. Obviously, we've got the new Argonauts faction, which we talked about in the last video. We have Pontiff Augustine in the event dungeon. We talked about that in the first video I did as well. Chronophage, we talked about that. We've talked about the relics. We'll see what they look like in game because you don't have the stats or the gems, which is really important to knowing how strong they are. This is, I think, the final new bit of news for this video. The event-themed items and badges. So there are 2 Assassin's Creed-themed avatar frames. One will be available as a reward in one of the events, presumably a Hero's Path, maybe a Titan event. The other one can be obtained by collecting all Assassin's Creed-related champions, Cassandra, Edward Kenway, Ezio, Basim, Bayek, and Pontiff Augustine. If you collect all 6 champions, you'll be able to earn a special badge, Master Assassin, which is like old Ezio, which is very cool. I mean, this page is leading me to believe that Pontiff Augustine is going to be time limited, which is interesting that they're going to time limit a champion that they don't need to time limit. Fair enough. So yeah, he's probably time limited. So 6 champions, it's going to be a hell of a job to collect all of them, I'll be honest with you. And I would assume that Pontiff Augustine is probably going to be like a big chase champ. He might be up for a Prism event, maybe from like a champion training tournament. Possibly you just have to pull him by buying lots and lots and lots and lots of void shards, probably. And then the others, obviously Cassandra and Ezio. Cassandra from the fusion, tricky but doable. Ezio, very easy because he's free. Edward, Basim, I'd be expecting like Titan event, Hero's Path, Deck of Fate type for them. Bayek, if I was to guess, it would probably be following the turtle theme, probably be Bayek from a Hero's Path. Yeah, I mean, maybe they'll do Bayek for a Titan event and Edward from the Hero's Path. He's maybe a bit juicier, to be honest. And then Basim, maybe Deck of Fate. Something like that. Let me know what you think. They might also break the mold. You never know. You never know. But there you go. Those are the 3 final assassins. And yeah, kind of looks to be fairly confirmation actually that that Pontiff Augustine is going to be time limited as well. Which one are you most excited about? Which one looks coolest? Which ones are you chasing, if any? What do you think would be the ideal assassin team? Do you even need a full assassin team or just run 1 or 2 on their own? Yeah, my overall thoughts are that they're pretty decent, but they're definitely not blowing me away as much as the turtles. I do think Edward looks to be the best, I would say. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see y'all next time. Goodbye.